Do your dance, Jeremiah? It's on! That's so adorable. Once there were three, now there are four. That is amazing. Hello, welcome to the October 19th edition of Disney Parks Talk Live, the show we bring to you each week to talk about the week in Disney and other related theme park news, including floating runaway railway. Catch it, don't let it get away. I am your co-host here, Doobie Mosley. Over there is my wife and other co-host, Rebecca.
Hi.
Down there covering the Disneyland Resort would be Mike Celestino, the one and only Mike Celestino.
Hello.
Mike, you are a keen fellow.
Thank
and
you.
Down there is Ahoy, Jeremiah. How you doing today?
Ahoy, Doobie. I'm drying off still.
I was going to say, has Jeremiah dried off yet from his hammock?
Regular viewers of our channel will know what we're talking about. Jeremiah,
Yeah, I feel like all these running jokes and callbacks are really encouraging people to watch more often and a wider variety of programming on Laugh.
I still can't believe you guys got him to sit in a wet hammock.
This morning, Jeremiah was at Coronado Springs. It reopened a few days ago, and among the things we asked him to do was jump in the pool, jump in the jacuzzi, go down the slide. But the only one he actually did was get in a soaking wet hammock. And you happen to are you still wearing those shorts, Jeremiah? Can you bend over and show us?
No.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Before we begin, we'd just like to remind you to make sure you please like us, whoever you're watching us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and yes, even Twitch, and ring that bell. Let us so you can get notified every time we go live. We have a special guest today coming up in just a few minutes. Very excited to have, I'm not even going to say his name, but if you are familiar with watching stuff on YouTube related to theme parks, you know this guy's face, one of the biggest names out there.
Wow,
now coming to us.
Quite the build-up.
Yeah, if you give it a
I'm
few
excited.
minutes, we could get a lot of people following us now.
I'm excited.
So
can't wait to talk to Tim Tracker.
All right, Mike, you're thinking up here. We're thinking somewhere in here.
He's listening to this.
I'm just going by numbers. Sorry.
Hey, actually,
we're down here, by the way, so it's not really an insult.
Tim has this much. This person has a long range of many things that have lots of views. So, but that has nothing to do with this. Let's move on.
Popular in our house. I know that much.
Why don't we pretend like the last 30 seconds did not occur and just get started with today's show? So the top story, obviously, today and pretty much every week, it seems, is when will Disneyland open? Well, we may be a little closer to an answer as we have just found out today that tomorrow, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, what, Jeremiah?
We just found out today that tomorrow
Exactly. That's
what is that? Sometime soon? Is that what we're going to learn? Sometime soon?
Tomorrow, Gavin Newsom is going to lay out the guidelines for theme parks and amusement parks on what will be required for them to reopen. Exactly what that means and what that means in terms of timing, we definitely do not know at this point. But the thing we've at least been clamoring for is some guidelines. What criteria need to be met? What do the parks need to do to be able to reopen? Tomorrow, we should get some answers.
Ta-da!
Mike, you got anything further on this?
Yeah, well, yeah, the interesting thing about this is that he also said that they're going to be breaking up the parks, possibly by company, possibly by location or whatever. So different parks could have different guidelines, I guess. That's pretty interesting to me. And then the OC Register headline caught me off guard and said that Disneyland and Universal might be left out entirely from these guidelines. So we may not have any news tomorrow at all. But
okay.
Yeah, there's some speculation. I'm sorry, am I really loud? There's some speculation out there that I've seen out and about that perhaps this will not include like the larger amusement theme, that this would be more like your regional, like my initial thought with that headline from the OC Register was things like Adventure City, which I don't even know if that still exists, but that's what popped into my head.
On Catella?
Things that are more equivalent to Fun Spot on the East Coast.
With the Doll Museum and the White House, is that Adventure City?
But I don't. But it's total speculation, because we only have the wording of the governor. So therefore, beyond that, we'll find out tomorrow.
AKA soon.
So we'll find out tomorrow. We don't have a whole lot of detail on that. I'm just looking real quick. So yeah, he definitely said they were going to break up the theme parks, and
there was some talk as just like the reality of the difference in sizing. If you have a park that has enormous numbers and then you address the percentage available, that's very different between a large location such as Disney versus a smaller regional, say, Ferris wheel. Maybe a pier, like, where you just have a Ferris wheel and a, carousel. We can't really apply. I got the impression he was saying we can't kind of do a one size fits all numerical definition for both a theme park and a pier, amusement venue. So we shall see.
Out here in Florida, that 25% across the board has really hurt all of the size parks. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Much more info tomorrow. One other related thing, Disney did announce that they've come to return to work agreements with 11 other unions, which covers the vast majority of their employees. So the rules under which they'll come back to work and the safety conditions and all that has been agreed to. So it feels like, as we've seen in the past, there's been construction at Disney in terms of plexiglass and things like that. So it seems like the park, at least Disneyland, and I suspect other parks, are about as ready as they can be. And so now they're all just waiting on pins and needles for Governor Newsom tomorrow to give us some info. So anything else on that before we go on to our very, 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 very special guest?
No, I want to hear about the topic our special guest is the specialist in.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
I have the title, so I'm going to do this.
Okay.
This gentleman, who is a longtime friend, is the new public relations and content manager for Legoland Florida Resort, Mr. Banks Lee.
Yay! Round of applause.
Okay, well, I haven't pressed the button yet because I introduced him as someone that everyone's familiar with who watches a lot of Disney YouTube. So what did he used to do?
Banks Lee was former, well, he can probably tell
I was
his
going to say,
title
let him
more.
tell us.
Hello, Banks.
Hello.
Welcome, Banks.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Good to see everyone.
Nice to see you too. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been a whirlwind past 3 months, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
So why do you look so familiar to me sitting there on YouTube? It's like this is where you belong.
I know, right? It feels like I'm home again. So for the past 10 years, I was the media manager for Attractions Magazine, formerly Orlando Attractions Magazine. So if you've been following Attractions for past 10 years, you would have seen me hosting the Attractions Show, their Attractions podcast as well, and just being in charge of all the video content for that channel.
Yay.
Awesome. And now you're with Legoland. So
now
big congratulations. Living the dream.
Thank you.
Jeremiah, take over.
Well, good job, Banks. It's very funny. Like, just before the shutdown, Banks and I were at Legoland for a food truck event. It wasn't that the Ninjago food truck was.
Yeah, they had the Ninjago food truck. That was way back in January. And we were also there for the Pirate Island Hotel preview.
Yeah, just when everything started reopening, and then you kind of said that you may be transitioning, and now here you are. So this past week, you let out a big announcement about your guys' 10th anniversary coming up next year. You want to go into some of the details about those announcements?
Yeah, so back on October 15th, which was our 9th birthday, we celebrated our 9th birthday by announcing all the things that are coming in 2021 for our 10th birthday. So we're going to celebrate all year long. We're going to have not just one, not two, but 10 new additions throughout the whole year coming to Legoland Florida Resort. And there is a lot to talk about here. I will say the first thing, the biggest thing that we're going to be doing is opening up our brand new water sports stunt show. So fans of Legoland, Florida, and really fans of Cypress Gardens from back in the day will know that the ski show is such an iconic part of that park in Lake Eloise. So we are bringing that back, revamped, better than ever, brand new show, new music, a brand new Lego character that's never been seen before, and then new stunts as well. So we're not just doing skis. You'll still see like the iconic ski pyramid and all that fun stuff. But we're doing stunts as well, including a brand new flyboarding act, taking things to new heights above Lake Eloise.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
Fun.
Yes.
And he said my favorite words, ski pyramid. Yay!
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't be a ski show on Lake Eloise without that pyramid.
Totally.
Just like the Go-Go's. Just like the Go-Go's.
Is that what the new music's going to be? Thanks. Is it going to be Go-Go's?
I can confirm or deny that if that's going to be it. I don't know.
Awesome.
Oh, so cool. We've adored Legoland when we were living in the Central Florida area. We were pass holders for a while there. So great park. What else? What other exciting celebratory things you want to share with us, Banks?
So the Water Sports Stunt Show is themed to Brickbeard, our Lego Pirates. So it is a pirate-themed stunt show. So we're also, that same weekend that show debuts, we're doing Pirate Fest Weekends, which is a brand new weekend event. We do weekend events all year long, like Ninjago days and, of course, Brick or Treat that's going on right now, and holidays coming up in the next couple months. So we're going to have Pirate Fest weekends happening February through March to coincide with the new show. We're also going to have a brand new 4D theater in the Legoland Funtown Theater. There is going to be a brand new master model builder experience. So you're going to get to go behind the brick, so to speak, and see how the models are put together by our master model builders. Another new weekend event with the Lego Friends. We're also adding new Lego models to Lego City. And what I'm very excited about is we all know Miniland. We all love Miniland. There is a lot to see, a lot of details with the Lego models of the different cities around the country. We are adding shade to Miniland. So those hot summer days will be a little bit more bearable while you're enjoying Miniland. On top of all that, we have extended hours that we're going to have during our all-summer celebrations, a new Lego City stage show, and then, of course, this is all culminating with our big 10th birthday on October 15th, 2021, where we are going to be building the largest Lego birthday cake you have ever seen.
Oh,
Nice.
very
Is it going to be pink and shaped like a castle?
I do not know. We are in the planning stages for how that's going to look, but it is going to be ginormous.
That's awesome.
Is that going to be a similar situation to previously Legoland has done, where guests are involved in kind of building elements and then slowly those are added to something? So it's while it's Legoland built, guests actually have a role in it as well? Or is this going to be something that we watch your artisans craft over a period of time?
We're still working on the details of how we're going to put together the cake. We'll definitely have a lot more to talk about throughout the whole year of 2021. So you can just follow us on all of our socials at Legoland Florida. We will make all the announcements. And that's what I like that idea, though. I like that idea.
Well, that's one of those things that I find, I always tell people that I find is what separates Legoland to me out from the other area theme parks is that you have a much more tangible element within your experience at Legoland. There's many more invitations to either interact with your experience, or they have that whole area where you're building little vehicles that you're then racing and things like that. So it's a chance to kind of explore your creative side, not in a passive way. It's very, very much you're involved in it, and I love it.
Yeah, well, we always like to say we're the park built for kids. So we love when kids are able to build with their imaginations and put together these awesome models. A lot of our events always have these unique interactive Lego elements, like a Lego mosaic build or model competition, and we will continue doing that in safe ways throughout the entire year. So that's definitely something that we will always be doing.
I like how you say you're building the largest Lego birthday cake in the world, but it hasn't started yet, which makes me want to go out and build a really big one just so yours has to get even bigger. You know, just challenge you.
Challenge accepted.
I think that Mike should probably take part in that because I think he has more Legos than all of us put together.
Probably true.
Do we build a cake like this? And goes, currently the world's biggest cake.
How are things going at Legoland with the reopening?
Everything's been going great. We've been open since June 1st. Everyone has had a great time and stayed very, very safe. We have safety measures throughout the entire park, over 200 hand sanitizing locations, of course, cashless payments and temperature checks and a reduced capacity as well. Things have been going really great. We've had really good turnouts for Brick or Treat this month. And if you still want to come out for that, it's Saturdays and Sundays through Halloween. We introduced this year for the first time during Brick or Treat days, you can join a virtual line for some of our attractions so that when you get there, if the wait time is 45 minutes, you just pop open the free Legoland Florida app, you join the line virtually, and then you can go trick-or-treating and enjoy the rest of the park. Then when it's your turn, time to hop in line.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There it is.
There it is.
That's super awesome.
How much was that app again,
Now,
Jeremiah?
It's free. We have an article about Brick or Treat this year. I've gone out to many of their events since I was there on opening day along with Banks, and since then I've gone a few times. And it is one of the nice things about it is a very wide open park. There isn't a lot of closed structures, so everybody is free. The shows, I love all their shows because even in the 4D theater, they walk you down to the row, seat you, give you the space. So they make sure everything is safe for you there. I'll let Banks talk about these photos.
Oh yeah,
I'm just scrolling through while you talk.
Right there, but yeah, Jeremiah was completely right. Like even during Brick or Treat, we have enhanced safety measures in order to seat people in the audiences that are separated, ushered down party by party. We have physically distanced trick-or-treating locations, which I think is my favorite part of the event this year. We have these candy chutes that are 6 feet long, some of them even 9 feet, that the model citizens throw candy in, and the kids can watch the candy come down the chute and right into their bucket. It just provides a really fun, unique way to trick-or-treat, and for kids to still be able to trick-or-treat this year.
That's cool. Fun stuff.
Well, thank you very much, Banks. And what's your cat's name back there, Banks?
Oh my gosh, hi. That is Tukan. His full name is Etukan.
Awesome. Beautiful.
If people want to keep up on what's going on with Legoland's 10th, where can they go?
They can go to legolandflorida.com, or you can follow all of our social media accounts at Legoland Florida.
Awesome. Oh. Well, thank you very much for joining us. This was really fun. I hope we get to have you on again soon.
Absolutely. Please. I would love to.
Visit us anytime. We love sharing what's going on at Legoland. We're big fans.
Definitely. Right. Thank you guys for having me on.
No problem.
Thanks a lot, Banks.
Bye,
Thank you, Jeremiah. See you, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, that was fun.
Legoland was always a great pace changer because the Disney parks, there's this energy, to the dynamic. There's so many people and and then Universal is I always tell people, for me, Universal's like a Michael Bay movie. It has one volume and it just stays at that same the entire time. It never lets down. And then you had Legoland, which was this delightful lakeside location with wide walkways and attractions in varying intensity. You had some thrill, some just beautiful. But what was really wonderful as a mom was that these wide walkways afforded me the opportunity of letting my kid kind of wander a bit more, because there was just a little bit more space. I didn't feel like he was kind of getting under people as much. And so it was just a little bit more relaxing for mom to not feel like, okay, don't be in anybody's way, don't be in anybody, kind of let him have his space. And it was like, just a really, really beautiful lakeside park. They did such a lovely job of incorporating the old with the new when they
did
took over Cyprus and
people who knew
transformed it.
Cyprus for sure. Okay, also on the West Coast, right? West Coast. Came the unfortunate news that the Mickey's Magical Map and Frozen Life of the Hyperion have officially closed as end of run notices went out, which way too soon for both of these. Obviously, this is because of the current situation, these would not be closing this soon, but similar shows in Florida have not reopened despite the parks reopening, so I don't think there was any chance these were going to be coming back soon anyway. The good news, potential good news is in the past, Disneyland has done end of run notices and still brought the show back at a later date. So we can cross our fingers. It's not, nothing's for sure until something replaces it, I guess. But Mickey's Magical Map and Frozen Life of the Hyperion are gone for now.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, how long of a run have these particular, do you guys know? Like, how long has Mickey's Magical Map been at the theater? Are we approaching a time frame where we might have been anticipating a transition?
Mickey's Magical Map has been there for quite a while. That show is
2013.
2013?
But Frozen's 2 years old?
Yeah,
Mike?
I covered the opening of that 2 or 3 years ago, so it wasn't too long ago.
May 2016.
Oh, wow.
There you go. It's longer than that. 4 years.
Yeah, but both those shows were probably the largest casts of any shows. I know Frozen, when I finally saw it, just blew me away how many cast members they had. And Mickey's Magical Map was very tech heavy and cast heavy.
Well, the trolls alone in Frozen, there must have been like 50 of those. That really upped the cast there. What's weird about these shows is I've only seen each of these one time, which is so rare. I love shows, but each of these I've only seen one time. I'm glad I finally saw Frozen, and it was pretty good. I missed the elephant they used to have that came in from the side. That was missing.
You and that Aladdin parade. Seriously. I think that's is that like your favorite theater moment of like just in general?
The surprise of when that elephant came in from the side, yeah, that was pretty high up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were a big fan of that little theater elephant. Okay.
It was. Who brings an elephant into a show? I mean, horses maybe.
I'm trying to think of some of the highlights of Mickey's Magical Map, because for me, that theater is locked in Animazement Pocahontas, because that's what I saw more of. So I'm trying to even grab the only moment I can think of with the Magical Map is like Mickey standing somewhere and there's a map in the background, but I can't even tell you what movies were featured in it. It's very, because I'm not that familiar with this. So different for me.
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Did
Princess
they do Tiana?
Frog. Yes.
Yeah, they had Tiana, right? Yeah. I have
And
vague memories.
Sword
now.
in the Stone, right?
Yes. No.
That's magic.
This show. When this show started, and Mike probably can back me up on this, it is very much the Disney show of showcasing every walk of life, as I used to put it. They make sure that they cover everything. I'm sure if they continued, they would have had something else in there that would have brought in another part of life.
Why is Tony talking about a live trumpeter? Does that ring a bell?
They had them in Magical Map.
Apparently, they had Jungle Book. Tony is our what's
Fact
it
checker.
theme part? Oh, he can be Stat Boy today.
Hey.
And Tangled, Mulan, Pocahontas. So thank you, Tony, Mr. Betty. So let's get on to something. Mike, I'll ask Mike a question first. Magical Map or Frozen?
I will say Frozen because it has cool puppets.
Like
And
the elephant.
I really like those puppets. The Olaf puppet's really cool, and I got licked by the Sven puppet during my media day. covering that.
Is there evidence of this somewhere?
Yeah, I have the photo somewhere. Tori.
Oh, okay.
You have that
I mean,
photo?
you'll have to share someday. I now need to see that. That's now on my
wife keeps
list.
track of those things. But,
That's so cute.
I think you
yeah.
actually put it. It wasn't too long ago. You put it in our
Yeah.
in a chat.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay, cool. We'll
I
find
don't
it
know-
and
I
share it
don't
with
know where it is
everybody.
right now.
We'll save it for next week. I'll put it
Okay.
in my notes for next week.
All right, this next Disneyland item, which also applies to Disney World, I don't even understand the headline, so I'm just going to give this one to Mike.
Star Wars reveals fan-selected legacy lightsaber coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in 2021. They had a vote of a number of different lightsabers you could pick to be the next lightsaber for sale in Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. And the one that won was not the one that I wanted, but it was the one from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which was Cal Kestis's lightsaber. And he's the main character in that game.
That's
Which
the one
is
I
weird.
voted for.
It's just a weird choice to me because the whole point of Cal's lightsaber in the game is you can customize it. Like, it doesn't look like any one thing. You decide what it looks like in the game. It's so weird. Like, okay, well, this is like the default mode, I guess, of
I just felt
this
that was. I picked it because it felt like something that they wouldn't otherwise typically do. So if I vote for it, it'll get done. Whereas the others felt like, that'll probably happen at some point in time, even if I don't choose it.
This lightsaber will always be the Joker's lightsaber to me, because the kid who played that is the Joker from Gotham.
Oh, wow. I hadn't made that connection.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which one did you vote for, Mike?
I wanted the ancient lightsaber from both the Void's Secrets of the Empire and Vader Immortal, the VR series. That was a really cool looking one. It has these like cool like double helix things, and there's also, this is Count Dooku's, I think, which is another new one.
Doesn't he have two? No, like 8. Doesn't he have like 8 of them?
That's
Okay,
General Grievous.
no, that's General Grievous.
As soon as I said it, I realized where I messed up.
I really wanted Ezra's, but I don't want the one they had. I wanted his gun one, but having a gun in there is one of those topics.
I'm holding out for the Princess Leia, for Leia's saber. So, and then we'll see. I haven't yet purchased a saber, and if anyone was to entice me, it would be that one. I'm not sure I'll end up pulling the trigger, but that would be epic.
I'm not a Jedi person, so I don't.
know you're not.
I do have one from Savi's workshop, but I would rather them make some of the other like blasters, which they probably will never do again, like Jeremiah said, because it's a gun.
I would like Lando's lightsaber. I think that would be pretty cool.
I cried seeing Leia's saber. I'll admit it.
I did like that part of Rise of Skywalker with the flashback to Leia training with Luke and the reveal of her lightsaber and stuff. That was pretty good.
I've got those Pop Funkos on the way.
Nice.
As I tell people, a lot of times people talk about princesses as being, what happened with the Disney brand with all the pink and the large ball gowns and all that. But for me, because of my age and because of when Princess arrived on this, Star Wars arrived on the scene, for me, you say princess, and my first thought is that incredibly strong rebellion leading woman. And that is what Princess was for me, and still is. So
absolutely.
So yeah.
Jeremiah, what's princess to you?
The cruise line.
So, Doobie, with Lando's lightsaber, would that be a Colt 45? Like, it's at the bottom of it?
Now, Tony, I know you have some artistic talent. Can you please make Lando with a Colt
that's
45
out there.
and
That's
a
already a
lightsaber?
meme somewhere, I'm sure. That's already
awesome.
a meme somewhere.
That is awesome. So you're not going to answer my princess question, Jeremiah?
But Leia's saber is so beautiful. They did such a lovely job.
Princess Leia is definitely my princess.
I'm sure
always be a princess, royalty to me.
Aww.
I'm sure we'll eventually see Leia's saber available in Doc Ondar's, as well as Rey's saber from the end of Rise of Skywalker, the yellow one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those are given. This was just, hey, let's see what unique thing we can get for the diehards.
That would describe Mike Celestino. So,
and instead, people like me voted.
East Coast, Jeremiah. So lots of stuff happening out there, relatively speaking, anyway. You were at Coronado Springs this morning because it reopened. The basketball finals are over. The bubble has
Go
burst.
Lakers.
The bubble has burst, and the park is now open to everyone. The hotel is now open to everyone. So if you'd like to get a nice tour of that in the rain, just watch our park walk and talk from this morning. Park Pass extended all the way to January 22. Park Pass is a system by which you reserve the day you're going to the park. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes, it is available now through January 15th of 2022. I'm not sure. I think it's just at this point, it may just be a safety catch because we don't know. I believe I'm not sure if hotel bookings are available that long, but that would be the only people that could actually book, I believe, at this point. I don't think they're selling tickets for 2022 yet, but it's something in this world that we need to think about. Hopefully Disneyland will follow somewhere close behind with the Park Pass.
So the fact that it's available for 22 certainly doesn't guarantee it's still going to be required in 22 because they can always say not needed, but better to need it and not have it. Nope. Yeah. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly. And like Bob Chapek said the other day, they are staying at 25% capacity until the CDC changes their mind. So we could see the CDC change to 50%, which may alleviate some of the Park Pass need. But I think until they do the full open, Park Pass will stay in its place because as we've seen, as you guys saw a couple of weeks ago, the capacity at 25% is still pretty busy.
Absolutely, yes. Go ahead, Rebecca.
No, I was going to say, because you have to take, it was something that became more tangible to me, the reality of reduced capacity, what it will do to everything. Because if you have if you don't have all the shops open, you don't have meet and greet experiences, you don't have shows, you don't have parades, you don't have just general entertainment for the most part. You have maybe a band here or there, but for the most part, you don't have the same level of entertainment happening around. That's a lot of kind of people eating experiences that are gone. And then now you take attractions and restaurants and shops that are open, you reduce how many people can be inside of those. And so even though the attendance at the park is reduced, between the social distancing and the reduced accessibility to it, you end up with it seeming like there's more people, but yet it doesn't feel crowded. It's a very weird thing to get in an extremely long line that travels very quickly and gets you to your point of entry swiftly, but yet has been a very long path. It's just, it's hard to wrap it's like a very weird dichotomy as a longtime fan to get in a line for Splash Mountain that is in Adventureland and to not have a ridiculously long wait. It's a fascinating experience.
For those of you who watch our show regularly, you'll know Rebecca and I were not on. Okay, I guess I did make a cameo, but for the most part, Rebecca and I weren't on last week because we were at Walt Disney World. So if you're interested in what it's like to actually go there during this time as a tourist, the airport, the airplane, the whole shebang, we toured other parts of Orlando as well, Universal. We did an extensive special edition of Dig a Little Deeper yesterday. So you can see that on YouTube or Facebook or even Twitter. And check that out. It was, I think it was pretty good primer for people. We don't really, we're not trying to say whether you should or should not go. We're just telling you exactly what the experience is like. And if you are thinking about going, I think you will find it extremely helpful. By the way, thank you, Tony, for finding this. That's pretty cool. So,
he wasn't using it as a lightsaber, though.
No, but it's something.
Close enough.
Is it okay? Is it within what is it called? Federation rules, galactic rules to drink while lightsabering or drink while blastering?
I'm pretty sure he was drunk the entire time anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Next up on the Disney World agenda, you want to talk about this?
It's not the Federation, by the way. That's Star Trek.
I was wondering if you were going to let that pass. It looked like you seemed like you tried to, but then finally couldn't.
Right. So For the first time in forever, not Frozen, but Walt Disney World opened up an annual pass pop-up shop. Disneyland has been doing quite a few pop-up shops at Downtown Disney over the past few months. So now they decided to try it here at Epcot for just annual pass holders. And it took over the Germany stores on the right-hand side across from the Carmel shop and the Christmas shop, where they had the pickle tree. Just got to bring up pickle tree every now and then. So it's available just to annual pass holders, Monday through Friday, open to, I believe, 6. And they plan to roll out new merchandise each week. This was opening day. They rolled out some of the brand new Italy merchandise that we have there, the pizza bags. And then I believe the next one should be that's 50% off is what they're offering for the flag merchandise. That's the Epcot line, the Flower and Garden. Many of the different things that are already discounted or were discounted at 30%, they drop down to 50, such as the margarita glasses. And they have the giant margarita glasses that are bigger than your head. So for annual pass holders only, they are 50% off in the store. But they are 30% off the 50% price. So some of the stuff in there was very inexpensive. All the flag merchandise, the Mickey and Minnie, I think I figured out the Mickey and Minnie may have cost like $6 each. But a lot of the annual pass stuff is just the 30%. So they'll have some of the other stuff going on. And one of the items that they rolled out, besides the Germany merchandise and the Italy merchandise, was they had some of the merchandise brought over from Disneyland Paris, because just like us, they have just reopened. So they put some brand new Disneyland Paris merchandise that I'm just kind of stalling. Oh, I think that's in a different article.
Oh, sorry.
And one of the nice things, if you spent $50 on annual pass merchandise, and you could choose either a coaster or a cutting board. The coaster set and the cutting board had been gifts previously to annual pass holders, but for new annual pass holders, that's a great way to get it. And it was definitely, there was people walking out of their bags full of everything.
I don't know how far in advance Disney has to do their ordering for stuff, but I got to believe Disney is just
2 years
chock full of unsold merchandise.
Yeah,
just in the rafters.
Oh, I was gonna say, based on our experiences, GB, talking with friends who were working there, there's a long lead time on merchandise.
It's roughly 2 years.
Yeah.
So, things that are being made, or things that were being made before the shutdown, got put on hold because a lot of the projects are delayed or even canceled. So, the stuff that they have, since we reopened the 2020 merchandise, is buy one, get one free, because there was 3 months of nobody buying the merchandise. And even normal time, the year merchandise usually goes on sale towards the end of the year. But now it's, some cases, 50% off the 2020 merchandise plus buy one, get one free. So,
wow.
They're
giving it away practically.
They really are. I mean, it's unfortunately, it's still not the prices we all remember when we were younger, but the price is definitely worth.
But what is?
Yeah.
But you can still get a ticket to Disneyland for $47, right?
That's like what you're locked at. Whenever Doomy chooses the price, it's always, wow, it's really changed from $47.
Annual pass is $99. Premium.
I was gonna say, I'll admit that I'm locked into the $99 annual pass frame of mind. So I'll
remember the $199 for the 2-park pass really upset me, but I had to go into DCA for the first time.
This is a good idea. How about a pass holder shop on Shop Disney, especially for Disneyland pass holders who, that would be a nice thing. And
that would be really cool, especially in that some people are uncomfortable, venturing out to a place like downtown Disney or a Disney theme park currently. That would be pretty nifty.
Good idea,
Might make the fact that you're still keeping up with your AP payments, although you can't go as often as you like, a little less painful to have that kind of perk.
Right. Are you a proud annual pass holder, Mike? See, to Disneyland?
Oh yeah, I was thinking my first annual pass was $99. This is probably 1998 or 1999.
Yep.
I bought mine in '95. The basic was $99. The premium was about $199, but it included premium parking and a 10% discount on merchandise in some restaurants.
Nice.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
No, you still get the discount in the merchant in the restaurants.
Yes, but it's not $199. Jeremiah, Wolfgang Puck, let us bow our heads.
I'm sad.
So this is the one by the Christmas shop, right?
Correct. This is the long-running one that just pretty much shut up overnight. They blacked out the windows, took down the menu. I believe the signage is down now. I haven't made it over there recently, but this was the day after it closed.
Had it reopened?
Yes, which unfortunately, as Benji and I were doing the walk and talk at Disney Springs, we both kind of agreed that since Earl of Sandwich had opened, we kind of lost the Wolfgang Puck's Express because that was a good go-to, but Earl of Sandwich is easier and quicker.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Doobie. Sorry. No, I was gonna say, wasn't that like part of our Disney Springs checklist back when it was, downtown Disney?
You mean like a regular place for us? We went
like when we were going on our vacation to Florida, we'd be like, okay, don't forget, we're gonna stop at Wolfgang Puck.
You're right, because they had something there that I can't remember.
Yeah, see, that's what I was doing too. While that was up there, I was trying to remember what was it that we loved so much, because it was like destination Walt Disney World vacation food. Our annual trip included Wolfgang Puck because we had to have, and I don't remember what it was.
And it's not happening. So Jeremiah, remind me, is the main restaurant still open on the other side?
Yes, the Bar and Grill is open. That was one of the first locations open when Disney Springs reopened.
And then they had an express over there as well. Did they still? I can't remember.
They have a quick service window that is out there, but it's not the same as the Wolfgang Express.
Tony Betty will miss it. It was his expensive lunch break spot. Apparently we're paying him too much. Okay, before we go into our next item, very important picture to show here. Okay. That was so cute, Mike. Do you remember that moment? What was going through your mind?
Oh, I just thought it would make a good Facebook profile pic.
You look so thrilled.
That picture is actually quite funny. It looks Photoshop, like you put your head on someone else's body.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's kind of blurry. I don't remember who took the photo, but it just came out a little blurry.
By the way, Jimmy, I feel like it was butternut squash soup that we love.
You might be right, but maybe I know the squash ravioli. The butternut squash ravioli is my favorite at the
other restaurant. Yeah, but I feel like the butternut squash soup was part of what would draw us to. Because we're temple people.
You know what's sad about life? Things change. Things change.
Yeah, they got rid of the tuna melt pizza at CPK.
At the Swan and Dolphin, in fact, there's a change. They no longer have Disney buses.
Yeah, this came out of nowhere, really. I can only guess that it was Disney. Swan and Dolphin had to pay Disney for their transportation, and maybe Mears stepped in.
Yeah, that's just the Swan and Dolphin have always been that in-between thing where you're kind of on property, but you're not on property. You got a cool hotel in the middle of the thing, but you don't have all the same perks. But you have some of the perks, including Disney buses, but now you don't have Disney buses anymore, and they don't have friendship boats currently. So I guess it's not quite as in the middle as it used to be.
If you stay at the Hilton over there by Disney Springs, you would also be using Mears Transport. So it seems like that would be more in line with what your experience would be if you were at a Good Neighbor hotel or whatever the official language is for those. Not quite on Disney there.
But the Swan and Dolphin in particular, because they were right in the middle of the action, and they have the friendship boats, and you can walk to two of the parks. But
I will say that the last couple times I've been down there, I did the walk from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, and I really enjoyed it. And
I love that one.
yeah,
so I don't think if I were staying at the Swan and Dolphin, which I never have, I would just be happy to be able to walk to both of those parks.
right. It is a great location.
It's a lovely walk.
I love taking boats, so the fact that they're right on Friendship Boat is really nice for me. I just like being on the water. Makes me lighter. You know, when you're in the water, you kind of I feel like a normal person. License plates. This was quite a shock, Jeremiah. You want to talk about this a little bit? What's so funny, honey?
You never cease to amaze me.
So Disney has finally decided to take over Florida completely by offering Walt Disney World 50th anniversary license plates for Florida residents. This news was amazing, and I loved it, and I was so excited, and you can find absolutely no information on the Florida DMV site. It talks about in the article how you can find information about buying a voucher for sometime in the future. No, you cannot find a voucher. I mean, it may have updated since then, but I spent probably an hour going through every single page on the Florida DMV site going, where is this voucher? I want to buy it now. Take my money. No. And there's no...
Did you wake up at 3 a.m.?
3 a.m. And there's no information on what the plate's going to look like. So really, they are just missing out on all of us suckers, giving them $25 for what could be a Pink Castle plate.
Don't worry, Jeremiah. They'll get you soon because they'll announce here for an additional $25. You can not only get the plate, but a limited edition pin of the plate.
Oh, dude, that he'll wake up at 3-4. We would be remiss if we did not mention the proceeds and sales. The proceeds from the sales of these license plates goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Central and Northern Florida. Florida,
which is lovely.
What is that? Florida.
Florida.
Ratatouille. Shelly apparently says it still hasn't been updated, so thank you. I will stop looking.
By the way, if you live in California and you're sad about this and you're a fan of Snoopy, you can get a Snoopy license plate and the proceeds go to the cartoon and go to California museums. That goes to the California Cultural and Historical Endowment. So you can also have a delightfully animated license plate, but it's not Disney.
Wait, it moves?
Like related to the world of animation.
It does move. It's on a car. So,
yeah.
Jeffrey, this is a good point. Why are they only doing this in Florida? There are charities all over the country. That's silly.
Can you imagine?
Texas will start offering it when they open their Disneyland, so that everything will be perfect. There is not a Texas Disneyland. It's not happening.
We have
That would
breaking
be
news here,
funny.
Jeremiah? You know, Jeremiah, if it weren't for the rumors about a Texas Disneyland,
What?
I have no follow-up to that.
Okay, I
There
was
wouldn't be
waiting for
rumors
that.
about a Texas Knott's Berry farm.
Oh,
There you go. See?
That would fit. Okay, let's go. Let's not go. Let's go to a couple quick things. That's not worth mentioning.
Going, we're not going.
I just mentioned this one just because I have a story. So the Big Blue Pool is going
in the
under
Big
refurbishment.
Blue Pearl. In a hotel that's not open yet, yes.
Yes, but the reason I mentioned that is the Big Blue Pool was known for having music and character voices underwater. So you go underwater and you could hear music, which I got to do recently when we went to Cabana Bay on our trip last week. And I went underwater, and while I was underwater, I could hear music, and that was the most amazing thing in the world. And now I wish I was a fish just so I could do that all the time because it's really awesome. So that's the only reason I'm mentioning that.
Would a fish survive in that pool?
I still want to know, Doobie, how were you in Cabana Bay but could hear the music from Big Blue Pool? I mean, they're not even playing it in the Big Blue Pool anymore. So
You know what's weird is while I was under there, the particular song I heard was an accordion version of the Muppets theme. And it was really good.
I still hear that in my nightmares, so yeah.
I wonder if they're going to add fun elements to this during this refurbishment.
Like what?
when we were there just before the shutdown, we talked about the pool, and they said that was removed probably because of safety concerns, such as Doobie talking about during our walk and talk what he was doing at Cabana Bay, almost blacking out because he stayed under too long near the music.
You can't just tilt your head and have like the rest of your body out of the water and just have an ear in the water.
Not stereo. Mr. Baxter.
Your 4-year-old nephew figured that one out.
The deeper you go, the better it sounds.
Oh, is that the case?
That's what I'm telling myself now, since I didn't figure that out.
No, do we know if this closure, does this include the play zone that's just beyond the pool, or is it, or do we know? Has that been indicated?
No, this I don't know why we're even talking about it, because the hotel's not even open.
Doobie's talking about it because he has a pool story. Come on.
No, I said this earlier. I was like, this is one of those like Disney, everybody that's a Disney site is like, ooh, Big Blue Pool is going down for refurbishment at a hotel that nobody can go to. So,
but the hotel, the refurb doesn't start until January, so maybe the hotel will be open by then without a pool. Which begs the question, why not refurb it now? But we're not going to get into the logistics.
Exactly. But I just wondered if we knew if the Big Blue Pool included that dry zone, or if the Big Blue Pool was purely the Big Blue Pool. That was my question. So.
Speaking of the Big Blue Pool dry zone,
it's fun to say that.
I remember when this thing opened, we were into playgrounds at the time because we had a child. Their playground is one of the coolest looking. We still have a child, but he doesn't like playgrounds quite as much, but he still likes them. Their playground was one of the coolest looking, but functionally it wasn't that great. It was good, but not that great. And also, it's so easy for kids to get inside there to where you couldn't find them anymore. And one of the nice things about playgrounds is when you can see the whole thing. So, just saying.
It would also get really hot, as I remember.
Yeah, you're right.
There was no shade, and the way the elements were, you'd like, wow, it's hot.
Well, now when you guys come back, you can go to Legoland, and the mini town will have shade for you.
I'm so excited for the shade.
Legoland Florida Resort.
I don't know anything about anyone that designs these things, but it really felt like somebody said, let's make an incredible looking playground who actually never had to take a child to a playground.
Well, but it was elements that were duplicated. Is it the other way? Okay, now my timeline's going to be wrong. It was same elements that you saw when you were on the cruise in the Nemo Reef. And I can't remember.
I don't think so. For the playground, not the pool playground, but just a playground. I don't think so.
Like the slide was very similar, and okay, fine. I'm not that committed. Like, okay.
Neither am I. You almost had me convinced.
Oh man.
So January, if you're staying at Art of Animation, if it's open, the pool and possibly the play zone, we're not sure. May or may not be closed.
The nice thing is that they have this information out there, so as you're making your plans. I mean, that's why they put it out there, is they want you to know that if you don't want to be at a resort where this kind of construction, refurbishment, yada yada is going on, then it go somewhere else.
Are you saying it's good to know when you go to a hotel if all the pool's amenities won't be available?
It is very good, as we recently learned, to know these things. when we checked into our stay at Universal's Cabana Bay, unfortunately, the water slide was broken, and it was not to be repaired during our stay, and that was very sad. We were very sad that it was not running, but to add insult to injury, we spent a day at the parks and we were having a great day, and it was hotter than hot. And around 6 o'clock, we thought, well, we'll go back to the hotel and enjoy the lazy river. It closes at 11, I think is what was posted. It may have been 10, but I think it was 11.
It was 10.
We get back to the hotel, we head over to the lazy river. We go to get in the lazy river. There's no tubes. Where are the tubes? They're at this shack over here. You have to buy a tube, which, first of all, was surprising since they didn't tell us. But the tube place closes at 6.
That was a
river closes at 11. The tubes weren't available.
Are you allowed in the lazy river without a tube?
Yes.
You were allowed in the lazy river without a tube, and they had life vests provided for you to wear if you wanted to just wear a life vest and float along. However, they only had smaller sizes of life vests, so adult women couldn't really be accommodated by them.
Nor could adult doobies.
Nor could doobie be accommodated by them. So, and you weren't allowed to just kind of hold on to the life vest. If you partook in the life vest, the lifeguards required you to wear the life vest. It couldn't just be kind of held as a device. So you had to actually place it, like a vest upon thy body.
All or nothing.
Yeah.
And very, very important point, Mike. Lazy river without a tube is not a lazy river.
It's I'm going to walk along this waterway.
Yeah. And as I learned, as I made one loop on my feet, you get exhausted walking in a lazy river without a tube. So.
But
How big was this lazy river?
It's pretty sizable.
Oh, yay big, pretty big.
It was long. It was nice and long. It wasn't like go all the way around Typhoon Lagoon long. But I would say
a 10-minute trip, I would think, on a tube.
Nice.
10, 15 minute trip. Yeah,
Can we talk about your restroom experience at Cabana Bay, Doobie?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Neither do I.
Trying to get out of the restroom area.
We loved. By the way, this sounds terrible because we actually did love Cabana Bay. It was
Cabana Bay is great.
But just a few little flaws that that, and the thing with the lazy river could be very easily corrected if they just. I wonder if it used to be before COVID, if you were given like paperwork, you used to, when you would check into hotels, get a little piece of, hey, here's a little introduction to the delightful story of our hotel and the amenities it has, used to be what would happen when you would check into a resort hotel. But obviously nowadays they're cutting down on how much, stuff they're giving you. And I wonder if that's just one of the things that's kind of been overlooked is the need to inform. Because I saw about a half dozen people walk up to the same place we walked up to and walk away dejected that they couldn't purchase a tube. So.
Now, this story does have a happy ending. A guest saw me crying in the corner over my lack of a tube and gave me theirs. So that
was very sweet. It was very nice of them to take pity on us.
I have a question for Mike. I know you're a huge water park fan. Are you a lazy river, a wave pool, or a slide guy?
Well, yeah, you mentioning the lazy river got me thinking about when the last time I was in a lazy river was. And I think, we went to the Knott's.
Hurricane Harbor?
Is that what it's called?
No, that's Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain.
Soak City.
Soak
City. That was probably 2 years ago. And then last year I was at Raging Waters in San Dimas, which is not the water park they used in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I was like excited to go there because I thought it was the water park from Bill and Ted. But apparently they shot that in New Mexico or something.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the concept of lazy rivers. The ones that I was at these two, the ones that I went in were very crowded, and I feel like you want a lazy river to have like a little bit of space between you and the other people.
Really, I don't mind the bumping. I hate to touch other people's feet, but other than that, I don't mind the bumping too much.
What's your favorite lazy river in Central Florida, Doobie?
It hurts me to say this because I love Typhoon Lagoons and I love Blizzard Beaches, but the fast one in Aquatica is definitely.
That's not a lazy river.
Excuse me. Fine,
then I would go. There's nothing lazy about that. It's a river. In fact, it's called Rora's Rapids. It's not
It's the current of water that goes in a circle. That defines a lazy river.
No, they have a lazy river. Remember, it takes you by the aquarium. That's a lazy river.
All right. In that case, I'll go Typhoon Lagoon.
Thank you. Lazy River, Rora Rapids. Nope.
I've never been to a water park at Disney World. I've never been to Typhoon Lagoon or Hurricane Harbor.
They're both amazing.
Is that what
especially
it's called?
Typhoon.
Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. Hurricane Harbor again is in
Six Flags. Yeah.
I tell people, and I still feel this way. If 9 times out of 10, if you were to find me on any given day of the week and said to me, Rebecca, snap your fingers and you can be at any Disney park, I would say Typhoon Lagoon. I find that to be amazing storytelling, design, just incredible display of what I think is the perfection of Imagineering to both tell a story and fulfill guest need.
I bet I would really like it, but anytime I'm there, I always feel like my priorities are just to be on the Disney attractions that we don't have here, like the e-ticket stuff down there.
I can understand that.
Mike, if you could snap your finger right now and be in any Disney park, any Disneyland, where would you go?
That are currently
No.
existing.
No,
Well,
it
we
doesn't
talked
matter.
about my desire to go to Epcot, the like late '80s Epcot.
All right, so that currently exists, but not that's necessarily open right now.
Okay,
You can
okay,
include
okay. I would like to go back to Animal Kingdom because I haven't spent a lot of time there.
Good choice.
I've been there
Interesting.
like 3 or 4 times ever, so I would like to spend more time there.
And I would argue that of the 4 parks at Walt Disney World right now in the COVID era, I think that Animal Kingdom is the best right now in the midst of this because of the way social distancing and whatnot have impacted a visit to Animal Kingdom, because the Navi and Flight of Passage are far more accessible right now. The Kilimanjaro Safari attraction everything seemed to be just far more accessible right now,
Right.
and it was really enjoyable.
And you're not really missing out on anything. Well, a little bit. The Big Blue World, the Nemo
The
show,
show,
but
the Nemo show.
the
Mhm.
Upbird Adventure, unfortunately, is still going, or a version of it. And
A
Rivers
better
of Light,
version of it.
Rivers of Light is, in my opinion, you're not missing
Well, no,
anything.
I thought it was done before this.
Oh, you're.
Am
I
probably
wrong?
right.
Rivers of Light had closed, and they'd
Yeah.
opened up a new version with more of the characters, and now that
Okay.
is.
And then,
and then right now they have the characters appearing around the river, which is a
Mhm.
delightful treat as you're walking around. So.
my Shark Reef thing was just shame on you for missing it, Tony. But when you hear Shark Reef, what's the one word that comes to your mind, Rebecca?
It's so cold.
It is so cold. Sharks apparently like their water cold.
It was funny because you spent all day in the beautiful water of, oh, you're right, Lion King. You would miss Lion King if
Yeah.
you were going to Animal Kingdom.
Very good point.
And
Okay.
so entertainment
Oh,
would be.
and like as far as like the international parks go, I really want to go to Tokyo at some point. That seems really awesome.
Wow, what a segue.
I really want to go to, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But I wanted to get, we're going to come back to you, Jeremiah, to get your answer.
Oh, I thought I was writing on my segue.
You are so immature. All right. So,
Oh, Segway tours.
over at Tokyo, one of our wonderful correspondents, Tetsuya, got to go visit all the
Aw.
new stuff at Tokyo. So they have opened up the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast. I keep trying to scroll the wrong screen. Okay. The Happy Ride with Baymax, which is just maybe the best named attraction in history. And Mini Style Studio. So none of us have been there, but you can definitely go check that out on Laughing Place. You'll want to read that because firsthand views and opinions of it. So go check that out, please. And let's see what else we've got. I think that's. Oh, apparently you can vote at Universal Studios Hollywood. They've opened up a voting center there. So Mike C. Nope. Tony wrote an article on that today. So let's all make Tony happy and go check that out. Send him an email saying, Tony, we read your article. Thank you so much for writing it.
Hey, Jeremiah, did you make it over to Fort Wilderness yet?
I did not. That is part of tomorrow after I visit Magic Kingdom for the day.
Fort Wilderness is on my bucket list of there's a few Walt Disney World experiences that I didn't cash in on while we were living in Orlando, and
we stayed at Fort
so
Wilderness. I was just looking at some pictures of us staying at Fort Wilderness.
oh no, we stayed at Fort Wilderness and I loved our stay there, but I always wanted to do that adventure, that off-road Segway tour.
Yes.
And I didn't partake in that before we left Orlando. So that's like on my to-do list, as is learning how to surf at Typhoon Lagoon. Those are two on my list. Oh no, Jeremiah, you are on my I can't believe he got to do that when it comes to the surf thing. Because that is Rebecca, top of bucket list.
Rebecca, you don't like being accosted by the First Order officers, but that surfing thing would be high on my list of things that I would never want to do.
So that was always one of my big bucket lists. And one of the things that the Disney great media folks always try to get us to do is to experience things to share with our readers. So I actually said, I've always wanted to do this, and I couldn't breathe for like a week and a half afterwards because I bruised my ribs so much from that. Have fun with that. I'm just never if you want to see some amazing photos and video of me wiping out, go search for Jeremiah Learns to Surf.
That's why it's totally on my bucket list of things that I want to do and haven't yet done, because I knew that there was going to be some preparation involved in being at the point where I would be able to enjoy it as much as I would like to. We stayed in a cabin, Tony, and we had a great time. We rented one of their little vehicles, so we had fun driving all around. That's my favorite memories of Fort Wilderness, is riding around in the little golf carts. It was so much fun. We had such a good time.
I agree.
It was good. But that and the Segway tour, because I was fortunate enough to fly over Bay Lake with my sister on the parasailing. So we did that before we left. Oh, nice. Jeremiah.
I think this is the one that really just hurts. Yep.
I can't even laugh at you because I would not even do this well.
Oh,
I so want to try it.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I know in all honesty, it is truly physically impossible for me to get up on the board. I have that limitation physically, but I just want to try this so bad.
That was great. Thank you so much, Jeremiah.
I always wanted to be Gidget when I was little. I was
you thought
I wanted to be Gidget.
You thought getting on a wet hammock would be your most embarrassing moment today.
I'm still sad we didn't get him to spit around on
with his NASA mask on.
With his NASA mask.
We've never done the tents. We've only done cabins, and they are spectacular. We love the cabins. The best part was when we got our CEO into the Murphy bed and then tried to push it up.
We closed him up in the Murphy bed. You just have his hand hanging out on the side. It's a great picture. It was such a fun moment. Yeah, we're wacky. What can I say?
So
I've always wanted to rent an RV. You know, the people who you can rent the RV from them and they'll drive it and set it up and everything, and then you stay in it right there at Fort Wilderness. I thought that'd be kind of fun to give that a try.
Yes, because I'm certainly not going to drive one, so they better have it there waiting for me.
Yeah, I thought that'd be fun.
So we mentioned the voting at Universal in California, and then at Universal in Florida, Jeremiah had the opportunity to do a new VIP tour. You want to tell us a little bit about that,
yes. Sorry, this week seems to be very busy. Right now, they are offering for annual pass holders a VIP tour of both Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. It is $59.99. That does not include your admission to the park because it's just available for annual pass holders right now. It takes you into the park, gives you some behind the scenes experiences. For Transformers, the ride, they actually took us in to one of the maintenance rooms and we could see a large map of the building. And then we walked past the control tower and then we went and rode the ride. For the Mummy, they took us in through the VIP entrance. We got to experience it. And then probably one of the highlights of any of my tours, not that, was the chance to walk along the underneath the coaster for the Mummy. Like, we were under the track as the coaster is flying past us. I'm standing next to a chain link fence that has some mesh on it, and the coaster goes by so fast the entire fence wobbled.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
incredible.
It was. And then they took us up to the Jimmy Fallon. We could see the control booth for Jimmy Fallon and look out the window at the New York Plaza area. And then after that, they took us over, gave us a snack, which was Who Hash on tater tots. And then after our snack, we went and rode the incredible. Well, after the snack, we went up to the VIP lounge, which is the annual pass holder lounge right now, and was able to take pictures off one of the bridges you walk under when you walk into the park. So we had this beautiful view. And once we were done with that, we went and rode the Incredible Hulk. So it was about a 2.5 hour tour. That tour guide right there, Jacob, was amazing. This tour, 2.5 hours to go on 3 rides, get a little bit of backstage experience. If you're a diehard, it's definitely something to do. But as annual pass holders, we've experienced these rides many times. So the backstage stuff was nice, but Jacob, our tour guide, made it all worth the money.
Awesome. And again, the price for that is $59.99, and it's available through the end of October. So Universal APs, get over there.
Yeah, right now, and the way they made it sound is it may be extended, it may be adjusted. They took a survey of Universal annual pass holders, and they chose the attractions that we experienced.
Okay. And they chose
It was only like
I know, that's what I said also.
to answer Tony's question, it was only like a third full, so no.
But you could have. You could have.
I guess I could have.
You're capable. You have the ability to. Jeremiah, snap your fingers. You're in any theme park location right now. Where are you going?
Tokyo Disney Sea.
Of course.
Always.
Of course.
I mean, I miss Disneyland nonstop, but yeah, Tokyo Disney Sea is above and beyond any experience of any theme park I've ever been to.
And Rebecca, what's my answer?
Cruise line.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Well, I was thinking cruise lines off the table. I don't know.
Yeah.
Specifically deck 4. Any ship.
Yes, I was going to say deck 4.
What's on deck 4 again?
That's where the
Those
wooden deck
beautiful
chairs are.
chairs that you can just like stretch out, the Shea Lounge. So he goes and he gets his frou-frou drink of the day.
Ah, Doobie almost fell backwards.
No, I knocked my water bottle.
Okay.
He'll go get his frou-frou frozen fruity drink of the day and go sit on deck 4.
Is that the adults only area?
No,
No.
it's actually the fitness track, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
A portion of it is where they have the shuffleboard. You didn't go there because of that's where the lifeboats are, and you said it made you uncomfortable.
I did go. We did have to go there for there's like the training exercise at the beginning.
Yeah. That's
Fitting.
Doobie's
What do they
favorite
call
place
that?
to hang overall. But I remember when we were talking about that, you were like, "Wow, really?"
Yeah.
Because
It made me uncomfortable and under the lifeboats. Yeah.
I was totally with you. I left the first time it took me a while to get. I'd make sure I was standing like in a different. But I've grown to love it. So in fact,
Doobie,
it's the lock screen on my phone.
what's unique about those lifeboats, Doobie?
They're yellow. Normally lifeboats were orange, but Disney got special permission to create yellow lifeboats.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, Doobie's pulling up a pic.
Deck 4.
Not the most picturesque choice, but you know.
No, I thought I'd have no problem finding one with me sitting in it, but I couldn't very quickly. So.
Oh, seriously?
I'm doing the same thing, Doobie. I'm trying to find a good deck 4 photo for you.
The fact that, I have my quirks, anyone can tell you, but the fact that you get nervous under those deck chairs, under the lifeboats is interesting.
Oh, that's just that's like the tip of the iceberg of my anxieties. So
But I can totally see that one. I
guess we shouldn't talk about icebergs when we're talking about cruise ships.
Good point. Hey, Doobie, are we going to be able to, at some point on Laughing Place, talk about our Universal adventure? Because we had a good time, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We tried new attractions and whatnot.
We should do that. We should just have I don't think there's any place where it fits, but we can have a special pop-up for whatever, we can do anything we want.
Yeah, we'll have
Wait, are we talking about the AP pop-up shop again? What's going on?
It was just too much fun. Attractions that surprised me, and just overall, it was a good time. And I'd like to, let people know especially right now, it's a bit easier to access, to be honest. So. So yeah.
Very true. Very true. Okay, I think that is everything. Did I miss anything? Anybody?
Hang on, I want to change my answer. I'll send you the photo.
So we got a couple things coming up tonight, right? We got
Yes, we do.
Mandalorian.
Go for it.
Mandalorian Monday, Mando Monday. We're going to be talking about the new, they're calling it a first look, I guess, instead of a trailer. But whenever that airs, eventually we'll come up and talk about that live. And then also, Alex is doing the movie club, LP movie club for the Disney Plus original film.
That
Clouds.
is right. So stay tuned for all of those on the LPs. However you're watching us, you'll be able to watch those.
And
Ring
so that
bell.
means, and it also means don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so that way you'll get the alert that we are on and chit-chatting about all things Disney and beyond.
That is correct. And then Jeremiah sent me this because that is a great place to be right now.
That was cool.
Uh-oh.
That was one of my favorite parts of our whole cruise.
The saddest thing, the last time I was out there, after the last storm, the tail fin of the Nautilus, it moved and that broke off. So it's now it's just kind of the body. But I have one of my favorite all-time photos is me touching the tail fin of the Nautilus that was out there in the lagoon.
I was also, speaking of my anxieties, I was also terrified of cutting my foot on a some kind of rusted metal on the bottom of that lagoon or whatever.
I'll give you that one.
That seems reasonable.
It was right around there that a large barracuda swam right by my brother when we were out there snorkeling.
Whoa, really?
That was impressive.
That was cool, actually.
That caught my attention.
I don't know if I would be able to recognize a barracuda.
Oh no, they have a very pronounced lower jaw and they're very narrow.
Okay.
And they have teeth that are impressive. So you would be like, oh yeah, that's a barracuda.
Okay.
I mean, you don't bother them, they don't bother you, kind of fish, from what I understand. So,
of course.
But they're on the warning signs. When you go to Castaway Cay, this is nature. So be aware.
Yeah.
There are natural things here.
So we've got to wrap this up so Mike C can get off and start watching his favorite sport so that he can get ready for the Mando preview. So thanks everyone for tuning in today and participating. Jeremiah, you're not waving.